Lamine Yamal, to me, is very good in possession of the ball, loves dribbling with the ball, loves to take players on 1v1, is not frightened to try things, so he's got a mixture of all three of those greats who have played the game. Does that make him better than either of those individuals?
He's good, we know that, but how good when compared to the best to ever play the game? And we're comparing Lamine Yamal to Lionel Messi, Cristiano Ronaldo and Ronaldo as well. So this is before turning 18, and we must say that those numbers for Lamine Yamal are going to be added to because he doesn't turn 18 until July. So at the moment, he's got 108 matches under his belt already, 24 goals and 32 assists. Before turning 18, Lionel Messi had 9 matches, just the 1 goal, no assist. 20 for Cristiano Ronaldo, 5 goals and 3 assists. And then the Brazilian Ronaldo, 3 matches, just the 1 goal and 0 assists. So the stats really tell the story there. What do you think is different? And we're talking about what we see on the pitch. I'm not talking about off the pitch stuff. What are we seeing different on the pitch from Lamine Yamal when you compare him to those other three?
Yeah, I think when you're comparing ages, it's very difficult to do. If you were to look at Lionel Messi at his age, certainly not in the Messi that went on to have success by the time he was 20 years old. So he had a big growth in development. Obviously, we understand why Messi had that growth in development from, 16 years old until he was 20 years old. But that helped him develop into a more stronger individual that was obviously able to compete at the highest level and strength as well. Then you have Cristiano Ronaldo. I actually played against him when he was 17 years old in a friendly game, and he was as good then as he was when he was 25, as he was when he was 30, as he has been since he turned 30. He's 40 years old now. But this kid has obviously started off getting experience at a ridiculously young age. He's obviously had success at a ridiculous young age, and that type of experience and having success at such a young age brings confidence. Therefore, what you're witnessing is you're witnessing a young man who's saying, I play for FC Barcelona. What I'm going to do is I'm going to carry this club to success. I'm going to pick up possession of the ball and I'm going to make things happen for my football club. I'm going to try and score goals. If I don't, I'm going to create opportunities. What I'm going to do at the end of the season is win championships. And I'm going to try and do that again this season. Just like I did for my national team at 16 years old, winning a Euros is insane. Individually, if you're trying to compare these players, you simply can't. They're all different individual players. Messi, genius in possession of the ball. When he picks up possession of the ball, he doesn't walk very far to get it, but when he picks up possession of the ball, magic happens. Cristiano Ronaldo, it's the energy, the athleticism, the daring to try things that no other player in world football tries to do. The real Ronaldo, he does things that we've never seen before with a football in between his legs, how magic he was with his football touch. Lamine Yamal, to me, is very good in possession of the ball, loves dribbling with the ball, loves to take players on 1v1, is not frightened to try things, so he's got a mixture of all three of those greats who have played the game. Does that make him better than either of those individuals? Not in my opinion. He needs to back that up with goals and statistics when it comes to assists. The assists are there, but the goals need to start coming on a more frequent basis. And I find that hard to say, considering the kid's 17 years old.
He also has a knack, both for club and country, of stepping up in big games. We saw that in the Champions League recently. He does save his best, and obviously he's performing at a brilliantly high level in most of the games he plays in, but he does often save his best for important moments, and he's done that for Hansi Flick throughout this season. Yeah. Do you think that's something also that we can kind of talk about in this debate, that he also plays well when his side really needs him? Yeah, and again, that goes back to the experience he's already got at such a young age, right? This kid, at 17 years and 7 months, played his 100th professional game. That's insane for me to even say that, because if you consider some of the great players who achieved that same thing, Lionel Messi had 100 games. I mean, this kid was obviously a lot older than him, and Ronaldo was 19 years old in 262 days. Messi was 20 years old. But this kid's achieved so much in such a short space of time. That experience just pushes him to be the leader of this group. I know there's great names who have played for Barcelona, who've worn the captain's armband, who have worn big numbers on the back of their jersey, that have had big names on the back of their jersey, but the name on the front of the jersey is what matters most. And with that name comes a need for success for their supporters all across the world. They're expecting Lamine Yamal to step up, and right now he's doing exactly that. But I find it difficult to compare him
to the greats who have been. Of course, Lionel Messi was probably the greatest player I've ever seen play. Cristiano Ronaldo, not far behind it. Certainly as a goal scorer goes, he has scored over 1,000 goals for club and country. How do you even argue against that? I think we were a little bit hurt by the fact that Ronaldo would have gone on to have this fabulous career had it not been for injury. But let's compare Cristiano Ronaldo, Lionel Messi and Lamine Yamal when it came to the first 100 games, because that's where my attention immediately went to. Because I think it's unfair to say, well, this kid's 17 years old and look what he's achieved and he's now played 108 games. They didn't do that. But it's different, right? When you actually play those games, you still have to have success, and he's certainly had success. He's won a La Liga title, he's won a Spanish Super Cup, and he's won the Euros for Spain. Amazing achievement for someone who's 17 years old and 7 months by the time he played 100 games for club and country. For Lionel Messi, by that stage, I mentioned already, he was 20 years old and 105 days. He has 2 La Liga titles to his name by those 100 games. He also has the Spanish Super Cup and a Champions League in those first 100 games. That's special. And then Cristiano Ronaldo obviously was a little bit of a late developer with his Portuguese Super Cup and an FA Cup to his name by his first 100 games. So trying to compare these guys is almost impossible. I think sometimes we've got to sit back and just admire the beautiful nature that is developing as a wonderful player.
They are high numbers, and we are celebrating, particularly when it comes to goals and assists, but the high appearance numbers isn't always a good thing, is it? Lamine Yamal is going to have played thousands of games by the time we get to, his latter 20s, early 30s as well. Could that potentially be an issue, longevity for a player like this who's played so much at such a tender age, especially when you compare him to greats like that?
Well, there have been players who have gone through their career and not had serious injury, and let's hope that he doesn't have serious injury, because I don't want the world to be starved of how great this player can potentially be. He already looks like he's on the track for a Ballon d'Or. How many he will win is up to him. Obviously, his development with statistics, as I pointed out there, he needs more goals in his game. Creativity-wise, he's clearly there, but he still needs to produce more if he wants to win 4, 5, 6 Ballon d'Or. He's going to have a lot of competition from some of the greats who are playing right now that are also around his age. Your Vinny Juniors, your Jude Bellinghams, your Erling Haalands. They are all world-class players who are looking for that Ballon d'Or because they put up big numbers to follow suit with their performances. I think Lamine Yamal is not far away. And at 17 years old, with his development, how far he can go, it's up to him. I want to see that development. I love Hansi Flick being the manager to help him through his development at this stage in his career, because I think it's the right guy. He's done it so many times before, especially with his time at Bayern Munich. But I am worried. It's a lot of games to play at 17 years old. By the time he's 27, to say that this guy would have played, 950 games means that he may not make it to be the Messi who's 37 now, the Ronaldo who's 40 years old and still playing.
Just really quickly before we go to break, you can pick a team and you've got the players all at the same age and their ability at that age.
Yeah.
Who are you putting in your first 11?
It's a great question.
You can only have one of those 4.
It's a great question, and the one that always goes into my team right now will be Lionel Messi at his age, because you already saw the player he was going to become when he was 12, 13, 14 years old. It was the development of his growth that you knew needed to happen, and Barcelona were patient with that. So for me, Lionel Messi was the greatest before he even kicked the ball, and he has become the greatest to have ever played our game, even now. But if there is a target for Lamine Yamal to chase, it would be that man who wore that jersey before him. Lionel Messi, what he achieved in this game. If you want to achieve greatness, consider yourself lucky that you play for the same club that the greatest of all time ever played for.
You've got Lamine Yamal and both Ronaldos on the bench. Talk about that for impact subs. But Messi gets the nod.